Hello. It is time, once again, for the #1 Sentai Gozyu-dan, the most hated show on the internet. At least hated by me. Anyways, I am, of course, your host, Callsign Henshin, your mercenary from the future, coming to you live from 2285. How's everyone doing on this fine Sunday afternoon? I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend and are ready for this week ahead. I know I am. I'm super hyped, but we got to do this first. It's the #1 Sentai Gozyu-dan, the show where we live react and discuss the current episode of Gozyuger, but that's what I would do normally. Now, normally we would watch we would just get into the episode, watch it, give my thoughts, call it a day. But when something this big happens, right? When something on this kind of level happens, it's something that we have to talk about, like because you can't ignore it. It's literally impacting the show itself. Normally, with like drama things and things of that sort, you can kind of just ignore it, like let it sit by the wayside, like not even give it a second thought. Especially when it's drama from a show like from another country, like you don't have to worry about that. But something happened yesterday, and it blew up insanely. Like I'm pretty certain while we were watching Zets, the Tokusatsu chat wouldn't stop talking about it. Would not stop talking about it. At least up until the show, I had the chat. I closed the chat there, so I didn't know if they were still talking about it. But I know for a fact, leading up to the stream yesterday for Zets, everyone would not stop talking about it. And it was no at that time. It didn't seem like much. Well, actually, no. I want to take that back. Like I had heard, I had woken up and had heard something, right? But in my mind, it didn't seem like a big deal until they brought it to our attention. Because here's the thing: in Japan, Gozyu airs before Zets, so they were kind of reporting it as it was happening in the pre-show chat that of what was happening, and it made no sense. It actively made no sense whatsoever. And I'm sitting here like confused by it. Like I know what's happening, I know what's going on. I see the reports, I see everything, and it's not adding up. It is not adding up. So it's literally a combination of me reading reviews, seeing what people are saying, looking at other websites, seeing what other people are saying out there. So this is kind of like a mix of news and opinion, right? So I think we need to talk about it. So let's go ahead and head over to our blank screen real quick, just so we can put eyes on this real quick alike, because our time here is limited, so you gotta make time with what you do. So let's start off with the big one, right? I had to look for this because for some reason was not um like I didn't want to go through the effort of like digging through the tweets and stuff, because again a lot of things get lost in translation, so I tried to find an article that might have had like a decent translation of it. So I found this, and there were two articles. As you can see, there was another one because it involves today's episode. But here's the headline: Maya Imamori exits #1 Sentai Gozyu after underage drinking incident. Management contract terminated. Now, it states here on November 8th, Toei announced that Maya Imamori, 19, who plays Sumino Ichikawa, aka Gozyu Unicorn, in the TVSI Tokusatsu series #1 Sentai Gozyu, will step down from her role following confirmation of underage drinking. Her agency also issued an apology and announced that her management contract has been terminated as of today. Under Japanese law, individuals under the age of 20 are prohibited from drinking alcohol. Which, yeah, like underage drinking, that's kind of like, yeah, I get it. Like you don't want people under the age drinking. I believe that drinking age is 20, as it said right there. So I get it, but then Everything after that doesn't add up, right? A statement titled Apology and Notice regarding the cast member of No.1 Sentai Gozyu was posted on the official website, explaining that it has been confirmed that Mai Imamori, who appeared in No.1 Sentai Gozyu, engaged in behavior that violates the law prohibiting alcohol consumption by persons under the age of 20. Toei apologized, saying, "We sincerely apologize for the great concern and inconvenience caused to viewers, sponsors, and everyone involved with the program." And according to the company, the issue came to light when Imamori's agency reported her underage drinking. Taking the matter very seriously and from the standpoint of strict compliance, we have decided on the following response after discussions with TV Asahi: termination of her appearance contract and removal from the series, which is a baffling decision. It's strange and it doesn't make any sense. And I'll explain why in a second. Toei further stated that it will work to prevent recurrence by reinforcing awareness of social responsibility and ethics among cast members and production staff to ensure more reliable program creation. Imamori's talent agency also released a statement on its official site. It has been confirmed that our talent, Mai Imamori, engaged in underage drinking despite being under 20 years old, as this constitutes a serious breach of contract. We have decided to terminate her management contract as of today after careful deliberation. The agency offered its apologies to fans and those concerned and pledged to strengthen compliance education and management systems to prevent further incidents in the future. And then it goes, gives a little backstory on her. Born in Miyazaki Prefecture, Imamori won the Grand Prix at Miss Magazine 2023. Gained popularity as a Gravier model. Role assuming Ishikawa, Gozyu Unicorn, and No More Sentai Gozyu drew attention as the first ever female Black Ranger in the franchise. Goes on bet. At the series press conference in January, she expressed enthusiasm. "I want to give all my all every day so the viewers can enjoy the show each week. I hope to create a work that makes people think. This is wonderful at every moment, and I can tell you this is personal opinion. They did not." Following the controversy, Imamori posted an apology on Instagram. "I sincerely apologize for the trouble and concern I've caused many people due to my careless actions. Drinking alcohol while underage is a shameful act as both a member of society and as an individual. I deeply regret my actions and am reflecting on them seriously." She continued, "I would like to once again apologize to my fans, everyone involved, my co-stars, for causing great trouble and disappointment. Through this incident, I will reflect on my immaturity, face the consequences of betraying the trust placed in me, and live my life with sincerity that this will never again happen again. I am truly sorry." Now, that's all good and well, right? She issued an apology, and her management terminated the contract. It's a little weird, but you have to understand that at this point, this is earlier in the day. This is before the episode airs. So we don't know, at this point, we don't know what's going on, right? But they terminate the contract. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Her management agency also terminates the contract, which that is a very bizarre move, right? So at this point, it doesn't seem like it's going to affect anything because at this point, Gozyoja's already wrapped. Like it's done. It's in the can. It doesn't seem like it's going to affect the show, but they might write her off in like a V cinema or something. Like they might kill off like, or maybe they'll like rework they'll reshoot the final or one of the final episodes to kill her off, and then maybe have Otto take over or something, right? We don't understand at that time. We don't understand the severity of the situation, right? Like it's all kind of like out there. It's kind of weird, right? So it doesn't really track. It doesn't feel like this is going to be a lingering consequence. It's just going to be she's no longer going to assume the role in like further movies and things like that. Like that's the gist of it. That's what it feels like. And yes, I am saying future movies because there are people still out there saying that Super Sentai is wrapping up. Nah, man, it looks like it's just a rebrand. So because there is a new Sentai generation in the pipeline, so it's like nah. Anyway, but it was it was a weird statement to be putting out. And but ultimately, it's like maybe it's not of consequence. It's nothing to think about. The show will wrap, and like her dealing is it's done. We're good. Move on to the next series of Sentai, and then in the crossover movie, write Sumino off, or just say that Otto took up the mantle or some crap. I don't know. This is when things go super off the rails. This is when things go super off the rails. And this is kind of like spoilery for the episode. Mai Imamori removed from latest Gozyu episode opening after exit. Ishikawa Sumi no Goju Unicorn disappears just hours after announcement. The latest episode of the Super Sentai series #1 Sentai Gozyu-dan, episode 37, Friendship Cross, Lord Kumade is a fashionista, aired on November 9th. Maya Mamori, whose departure was announced the day before, was removed from the show's opening sequence. On the afternoon of November 8th, Toei confirmed that Imamori, who played Ichikawa Sumi no Goshu Unicorn, was engaged in underage drinking. We already know this part. As of today, Maya Imamori's management contract has also been terminated. A statement was posted on the official website, and according to the company, this is pretty much recapping that. She was removed from the show altogether. They retroactively edited the episode to remove her entirely from history. They didn't plan on writing her out. They just did it. They pulled her from the episode in its entirety. She's not there. They are it's almost like they're trying to like retroactively edit history, which is a bizarre move because again, this series is going to exist well after that. After this. Like, this is now a Sentai Gen. And if people were to like look up this series, all of a sudden near the end, one of the main members is gone. With no rhyme or reason. Unless they were like, if they ever archive it, they retroactively edit her out of all the episodes before it, which makes no sense to do because there were episodes that revolved around her. And literally, one of the big plot lines of the show, which there aren't a lot of, revolved around her and her sister. So this is like the most baffling move out of all of this. Like, why remove her? It makes no sense to do, especially if you already wrapped filming. Just you did it. She already got paid. She's not getting paid for the show appearance, at least for the show airing. She got paid to film. She already made her money. Just air the show and then write her off in a V cinema or in the crossover movie. Like, there was no need to give her, like, again, what she did in the grand scheme of things is not that big a deal. She had a drink being underage. Yeah, she made a mistake. She's still young. She still can make mistakes. And yet they're giving her the Chris Benoit treatment, and it's super weird. Why remove her for such an insignificant mistake? Like, I was conflicted the entire time this was happening. I was conflicted because not because I agree with anything like Toei did or anything like that. I'm conflicted because it wasn't making sense. Why would you not only again, firing is one thing, but you're actively Chris Benoiting her out of existence, and what she did doesn't merit that. She didn't kill nobody. She just had a drink. It makes no sense to do that. And I'm looking around, and I'm trying to find if there's anything else. And I'm going to be honest with you. There was this one thing. But I never, like, paid it any mind. Because at the end of the day, it was just, like, drama. It was hearsay. It was, like, nothing important. Right? There was something, I think it was, like, within, like, maybe, like, the first 15 episodes of Gozyu-dan, there was a meme going around that that apparently Gozyu Unicorn and Gozyu Wolf were in a relationship. I don't remember. I think it wasn't, but the reality was it was a dirt sheet, a tabloid rumor started that Maya was having an affair with the suit actor for Gozyu Wolf, who retired, the first suit actor who retired halfway through the show. And but again, I chalk that up as just tabloid drama, and I make it a point to not even look at tabloid drama because at the end of the day, it's drama. All drama does is hurt people. It's literally there to hurt people because you're reporting on things they don't want it to be reported on, but you know, paparazzi think, oh, their life is in the public eye, it's fair game. No, I honestly do not enjoy the paparazzo. So I wrote it off as nothing and thought nothing of it. But it feels weird to me that they would give her this treatment just for this. Now, do I think there's any truth to that previous rumor? No, I do not. But something's up. Something is not right. And I started like digging around wherever I could, and there was like bits and pieces that I picked up, but I don't think they mean anything. Right? Like I don't think it's the reason why this treatment is being given to her, but I can't but it's literally all we've got to work with here. There are a few people that are saying that she was actually fired. No, they were actually reported on on her underage drinking 2 months ago. And Toei tried to work with them. Tried to keep working with her as much as they could until today. Because once her management team fired her, because apparently she had no direct deal with Toei. The deal was with her talent agency. So when the talent agency decided to end her contract, Toei could not do anything about it. Because at that point now they're not legally allowed to use her, which I think is the reason why she was removed from the show. But again, that also doesn't make any sense because you already rapped. So she already got paid. So why remove her? And I think there's like a thing like a per likeness deal, right? Like every time she shows up, I guess she gets a cut. I don't understand how it works. I'm not a expert on, like Japanese copyright law or contract bullshit. I don't know anything about that. I'm only basing off of like speculative things from like previous instances. Like the biggest one that springs to mind was Kamen Rider Memory of Heroes on Nintendo Switch. They couldn't pay for the guy who played Hidari Shotaro's likeness. They couldn't get him. So that's why the entire game, his face is shadowed by his fedora. Like the reason they shadowed his face is because they couldn't pay for his likeness. So I think it's literally like it's like a per appearance basis. So every time an episode airs with her face on it, I guess she gets paid. I guess that's how it works. I'm not certain. But apparently they tried to keep her on as long as possible until today because apparently they were alerted about it 2 months ago by the management agency, but the management agency decided to end her contract yesterday. So that in and of itself just made it complicated for the rest of the series as a result. Now, I'm not saying this is like the first time that a Sentai member has been caught like doing something while a show's. I think Bioman. I've not watched Bioman, but I think Bioman is like the biggest example anyone knows. I think because the way they write him off, they just leave him dead on the floor. I think in the whole episode, which is super weird. But which honestly, one day I will have to look at that because I feel like that's just super weird. It's super petty. But again, the punishment does not fit the crime, right? What she didn't do was a conscious decision. It was an honest mistake. She's still a kid. She still makes mistakes. And I get that they feel like this is kind of like a disgrace because you're playing a character that is supposed to be all about, you know, upstanding, being a hero, things of that sort. But again, there are people in the toku space that have done way worse and have gotten away with it. Yet here we have Maya getting torched for a little bit of the bubbly. And yeah, the punishment does not fit the crime, which ultimately that just feels super weird. And I don't know why. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. She's just gone. Another rumor I heard that was going around in the Tokusatsu chat was that they were been looking to fire her for a while because of her heritage, and I didn't understand what that meant. I tried looking around, and I couldn't find anything to that degree. So I think that that one's a lead with no end. I mean, a dead end lead, I should say, because there's nothing. I don't understand what that would mean, nor am I able to like look into that because I feel like I feel like that's just people trying to like just pin whatever on it to try to reason. How you doing, Star Gold? How you doing? I think it's just people trying to find a reason. That one I don't think has any weight to it because again, it seems very odd. That particular argument does not hold weight, and it's super bizarre. It's super bizarre. A lot of people were drawing parallels to like past Sentai people that have done some egregious shit. Inevitably, it came back to Gokai Silver and how he defrauded old people out of their money. And I'm like, dude, the show's been done for like 15 years. You can't really use that for like almost 20 years at this point. Can't really use that as an example because yeah, the show's done. They're not filming new shit, and anytime these characters show up, it's just the suits, and they can find a sound alike for him. So it's like it's kind of it's kind of a weird thing. And then someone tried to tie this back into Vice from Kamen Rider Revice, and I'm like, the voice actor anyway. And I'm sitting here like, I don't think that's the gotcha you think it is. Because here's the thing. Yeah, he did some fucked up shit. He's still employed, which I find to be very weird. End name is Universe Heroes? Who? Oh, interesting. I didn't know that they already determined the new name. But I digress. Um, the thing is that with Vice is a weird one, and I do not defend the guy's actions. I've seen the blackface pictures. Bro should definitely not have a job. But what's hilarious to me is that they got this guy doing the voice of Vice in Revice, and literally the next year in Geats, you have a prominent black actor who is actually a writer in that show. I forget the name of the suit that which one of the suits he was wearing, but the bodyguard for what's her face for Kamen Rider Neon, the cat. I really need to go back and watch Geats. Her bodyguard later on, one of her bodyguards is like an American black dude, and he becomes a Kamen Rider later. So it's funny to me that you got a guy who's racist against black people in this series before that, and then you have a black guy playing a prominent role in Geats, which is just the most bizarre thing. And it's weird that he even still has a job because Toei has actually like hired black people to be in Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. Hell, Lupin versus Pot Ranger. Literally, the Sage character for the Pato Rangers is a black dude named Hilltop. Like, ha! Toei like regularly employs black people. So the fact that there is a guy who has done racist shit is still on the payroll. But again, that's not the same situation because again, he should be fired for what he did, but he still has a job. Mayu should not have been fired for what she did, but she got fired. So we can scream double standard, we can scream like this all we want, but ultimately us looking from the outside in, we don't know what's going on. Right? All we know is the press conference or the press release that Toei and her management agency put out. That's all we know. And ultimately, we can run speculation, we can run rampant all we want, but at the end of the day, it helps no one. It helps no one. Because ultimately, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know the reasoning for it. So us screaming bloody murder, justice for Maya might not even be worth it because we don't know what's going on. We don't know because again, in my mind, again, the punishment does not fit the crime. So unless something happened that they're actively not telling us that would merit her being fired, I I don't know. I feel like if anything, unless she actually comes out independently and says what truly happened behind the scenes, because here's the thing, that was a prepared statement. Let's be real about that. That statement that she put out, that is a prepared statement. Now, I don't expect her to go scorched earth like many people do, because here's the thing. Just because she's gone now doesn't mean she won't come back, right? Give it some time, right? Because this crime is small. That could mean she comes back later. You know what I mean? Like mainly it's like if this they tried to hold it back for as long as they could, but now it's out there, so it's probably people are going to forget. Let's be real. They're going to forget. But at the end of the day, right now, we don't know all the details. We only know what they have put out, what Maya's put out, what her agency is or former agency has put out, what Toei has put out. So for us to be screaming, like for like us screaming and trying to get justice for her, I feel like doesn't do her any favors right now, unless she were to outright come out and say I was fired not only for the underage drinking, but for this and that, and for this and then all that stuff. And then if all the stuff she says is not as egregious as it should be for the punishment, then yeah, by all means, scream at the top of your lungs justice for Maya. But right now, we don't know everything because again, the punishment does not befit this crime. There's more to this, and I feel like we as fans, rather than jump the gun and just go gung ho, we kind of need to wait to see where all the details come out. Like me personally, I will say first up, I think this is bullshit, just off of what we know. Okay, if anything comes out later that might change my opinion, maybe. But for what we know right now, something's up. Something is seriously wrong here, and I feel like that needs to be further looked into. I don't know if they're like watchdogs, like watching around like on all her socials and on like Toei socials and things like that, or anything of that sort. I don't know if we're ever gonna find out more about this. I will just say, from what we know right now, the punishment does not fit the crime, and I feel sick about it. But I am withholding my rage and my judgment until more facts come out because I don't want to jump the gun. Simply put. By all means, are we going to get a new Gozyu Black Ranger? The prevailing theory is that Sumino's sister Otto will assume the mantle. If not during the run of the show, she will assume it possibly in the movies. So there's no confirmation on that. However, it's just the wide speculative rumor. It makes the most sense to do, but whether that happens or not, we don't know. It's still too early. This all broke yesterday, late yesterday. We don't know. With that being said, I think it is time for us to get into the episode proper. So let's go ahead and jump over to the cinema room and let's go ahead and see how they have washed Sumino Ichikawa out of the series. They have removed her. They have snapped her out of existence. And I just want to say, actually, before we start, just one last thing. I'm gonna just outright say it, and I've been very vocal on this show about how much Gozyu angers me. This show has been cursed from the get-go, and I'm not gonna say it was the writers' gall to compare it to Kamen Rider Decade, and then because that was a fucking lie. But this show was just mired in there was just a bad omen about it, and it just feels rough, right? Almost like the show knew it was going to die and just decided to go out in a blaze, not even a blaze of glory, it's more like a wet fart, but it just decided, they just gave up. Like the show, like the writing has been terrible, and then their Black Ranger just gets into controversy upon controversy. This show is cursed. And I hate to say that because just from out the offset, it looked like it was going to be so good. But ultimately, this show is just. And then on top of that, the rebrand happening right after them. It just feels like bad omen after bad omen. And I genuinely feel bad for this show now. Is it still gonna make me mad if the writing is weird? Is it gonna like piss me off if like continuity is like not followed or anything? Of course it is, but if anything now I just feel bad for it because it had everything working against it, and despite everything it still failed. So I feel sorry. I feel bad. Because again, this show could have been something. But ultimately the choices of everyone involved just not great. Just it it just did not come together. And it feels horrible to say that. It feels horrible to say that. Because this show should have been something. The premise was great. Everything on paper made this sound like this was going to be a stellar season. And then they just gave up. And then scandal after scandal, controversy after controversy. Just they set us up. They set up our expectations only for them to come crashing down. And I feel bad because I really wanted to like this series. At this point now I feel like I'm hate watching, but I feel like it wouldn't be right for me to just stop reviewing it, you know? So we're gonna ride this this train wreck to the very end until it hits the goddamn. It's already off the rails. We're waiting for it to hit the first wall, and actually not even the first wall. We're waiting for them to hit a solid enough wall because it's gone through some walls. Let's be real. The fact that like this show is even still on the air is nothing short of a miracle, because just so much bad was thrown at it, and it's still. I don't even want to say it's persevering. It's like on life support at this point. And I hate to say that, but I have to call it how I see it, man. I have to call it as I see it. So let's go ahead and head over to the cinema room. Let's go ahead. Let us get into the. So we are going to now witness in real time the erasure of Sumino Ichikawa. And to say I'm not happy about it, kind of an understatement. Because we'll have to see what happens. Because again, I don't know if they'll be able to like fix it, right? Because I feel like if she's not playing any big roles in any of the episodes till the end of the show, it might not be that big of a deal. But if like her character was prominent, we're going to have some massive plot holes. The fact that she's no longer there with no rhyme or reason is already a plot hole in and of itself. So I am worried, but we're going to go into this. I can't even go into this with an open mind because the show has beaten me down so badly. But we're going to try to stay positive. So without further ado, number 1 Sentai Gozyu-dan, episode 37, Sans Sumino Ichikawa. Here we go. That's not her voice. Just this once. They never explored. They never explained how they did that. They never explained that. So the suit is still there. The suit is still there. So they probably didn't edit out the suit. They didn't edit out the suit, just the actress by the look of it. Will they ever explain what that ring does? Hmm. Wait, what? What the? Wait, what? A new member of the... Oh, dear God. That's weird. Why? Why a new member of the Brightons? That's a weird one. Aw, that's cute. This is just fucking weird. Bouquet is losing her fucking mind. God, why are we clowning a fire candle now? Why are we doing that? Generate her with a... Yeah, we could see something went wrong. Whoa, walnuts. And here comes Kamade. There's the man. Oh, those are chestnuts. Oh, there goes his robe. I'm waiting for the receipt. This man's. Has anyone paid him? Ah, there we go. Oh, I gotta mute. Hold on, I gotta mute. You can't. Copyright. Gotta mute. So far, it's just been focusing on Kamade, so we haven't seen the erasure as of yet. But we're looking at the intro. She's supposed to be gone from here. Wait, what? They changed the intro? Or is it a different intro because it's Gozyu Polar? It's a Gozyu Polar episode. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah, it's just him. But it's the regular theme, not his cool theme that he got when he debuted. So yeah, they actually... Okay, so it's not just that they erased her. They kind of removed... Okay, no, there's the erasure right there. There's the erasure right there. That particular part in the intro, she's not there. They cut out all the live action scenes. And only left Kumade's. Yeah, they cut out the dancing sequence. Yeah, so it's not... So in order to be able to do the erasure, they had to erase everyone else out in the process. So it's not a direct eraser. They're deflecting by editing everyone out of the intro. They're deflecting by removing everyone. So they removed most of the live action shit. Proud sponsor no tekyo de okurishimashita. They just removed it for everything. Oh, she's adorable. She's adorable. Aw, she's a child. She's a child. Oh, she found it. Oh, she's a heartwarming character. Oh God, here we go. Whoa! Wait, what? This is wearing black suits.
なんで毎回バイトの邪魔しに来んだよ。
貴様は究極ダサいと噂の50じゃ。ミーこそはファッションナンバーワン。
うちの客に迷惑かけんじゃねえ。服返してやれ。
黙れどそファッション。ファッショニスタはミーだけでいい。
This is just.
ミー以外のファッションは全て剥ぎ取り刈り取ってくれる。
You don't have to cover up. You're wearing black suits.
おい、店のもん何でも着てけ。ほら。
Okay, that's kind of fucked.
勝手なことされちゃ困るよ。
あ？困ってんのはこいつらだろ。
Oh, that was not a good move. That was not a good move.
ファッションといえば僕の出番だよね。
いやそれよりこっちをどうにかしてくれ。
Wait, what? Wait, oh, dear God. What happened to him? Is he drunk? Is he drunk off honey? What the fuck? What is he crashing? I think he's having a sugar crash.
熊手のナンバーワンローブが盗まれたんだクマ。あれは指輪争奪戦のチャンピオンに贈られる特別なローブなんだクマ。それをなくすと熊手はくねくねしちゃう。
What the fuck is this?
確かに。くねくねしてんな。
あれには熊手の誇りといろんな思い出が詰まってるんだクマ。クマが必ず取り戻してやるクマ。
いってらっしゃいね。
My man's a slug.
さあ、誰のコーディネートがナンバーワンか勝負。まずは僕。インナーは無地の白で抜け感を出して。
The jacket is a bit. Okay, the pants are what's throwing me. The pants are what's throwing me.
まとめてできる男感を出してみたよ。
ああ、首元が落ち着かねえ。ああ、せっかくのまとも感が台無しに。次は俺のコーデだ。
この破れたズボンはなんだ。ボロボロじゃないか。
Counterculture.
なんだよ。わかんねえか。
No, it's not. You got assaulted for that.
次は僕の番。
A traditional suit, baby.
続いては私のコーデだ。その名もテガソード様に捧ぐ英服。いやさか。
That's not how this works.
なんだかチクチクするな。
What the fuck?
アウェイキング。うわあ。
おい、ローブどこだ？ローブ。クマちゃん。いや、なんだクマ？ってそれ熊手のローブ？誰だか知らないけど返してほしいクマ。ちょっと何するの？離して。離さないクマ。熊手が待ってるんだクマ。うざ。やっぱりあんたラブかな。
Did he just get eaten? I think he got eaten. Is that tail vor? Is that what that is? Is that what that is? Oh God, if he breaks out into song right now, I am gonna, nah. Do not break out into song. I beg of you. I implore of you. Also, how did they edit Sumino out? That's my big question.
熊手。
So far, like she's not like it. This feels like the episode is
これしか
flowing naturally.
なかったクマ返せクマちょっとしつこい
俺にために
This is flowing real weird, almost like Sumino never mattered. It's so weird.
までのためならなんだってできるクマあの時約束したクマ
戻ってきたはいいが俺の時代からざっと20年俺様の本当の居場所はここにはない
He's a man out of time, out of hope. He needs to go to Diamond City.
ベアクマクマに命をくれてありがとうクマ
ほぼ神でも孤独は答えるそばにいてくれ
It just feels so weird that Sumino is somehow not involved. It's so weird.
くれないクマ
How does she not feel constant? Did they reshoot? Wait.
ノーブなんてどうだっていいんだお前の命に比べりゃ
Wait.
クマで
お前がい
Something-
てくれれば
I'll say it at the end of this episode, but something's adding up now.
良い格好だ人間
ファッションノーワンめかし込んできてやったぜ行くぜ
普段から僕たちは結構ファッションにこだわっていることが分かった自分が着たい服を着るべきだ
バカめ真のファッションとはこういうものですよ
The fuck is this gaudy shit?
私たちの服を無理やり一つにしたような
ではヒムになくてユウたちにあるファッションはないですよ
I feel like this would have been a Sumino episode somehow. I don't know why. Cause like high class shit, that would have been.
てめえらまた来るだろ
ナンバーワンのミーが正解といえば正解になるそれがファッションなんです
お前何も分かってねえな
なんだ
チャンピオンの証より大切なものがここにあるこれが俺様とベアックマの友情コートだ
熊で元に戻ったのか
なんですかこの醜い服はデザインも形もまるで素人縫い目も揃ってない
それがどうしたこいつは俺様とベアックマが一晩かけて作り上げたもの
Aw.
楽しかったこと苦しかったことたくさんの思い出と絆が一針一針に詰まってる
That's what it's
だ
about,
からこい
baby.
つは俺様にとっての一長蘭ファッションってのはそういう思いを着るもんだ
I never thought like this would be the kind of episode where Kamade gets to shine.
審査員何を悩んでいるならばユウたちのファッションを奪うまで
行くぜベアックマ
エンゲージ
Hell yeah, baby! Seize it! So, something feels weird. And I'm gonna touch on it on the end.
溢れるカリスマ
Something's like real off.
ファッションノーワンファッションファッション
1万年の孤独の果て出会った相棒との絆世直しゴッドです50ポーラーフ
ファッションは心意気だ。
Why does that work?
さあ行くぞ。
Here we go. Okay, say what you want. I'll say everything about the writing, but the choreograph is still good. The fighting is still good. I'll grant him that. Wait, where did you come from? Bitch! Okay, there it is. It wasn't made prevalent until the suit showed up. She's just there. Oh, that... Oh, that hurt. I would have, if she wasn't in the fighting sequences, I would have been, I think I would have, my theory would have checked out. But she's just there. What the fuck?
あれもしかしてゴジューダンダイナソーバイク
Where did she come from?
そのローブ、お前がベアックマンを。
こんにちは。私は新たなブライダン。みんなの妹、破壊のリボンだよ。タブくんよろしく。
新たなブライダン。
すごい力。まるで恐竜ね。
Okay, they dubbed her over.
私も混ぜて。あいあいだ。
They dubbed her over. Okay, so they got a voice actress for her, but like, it feels so weird. They edited her out of all the live action shit,
久々に暴れたくなったか。
but like but they left her in the fighting scene, so it just kind of, there's just so much wrong there. I feel like there was some last minute reshoots.
お前は俺の獲物だ。
I feel like there were some reshoots. Like, definitely something feels weird.
そうかよ。だったらこいつもくれてやる。
Punch it, baby! I don't feel like this form was supposed to be here. I feel like this was an emergency reshoot. Because it feels weird for Orca Blaster to just be back in the forefront. Again, she's just there. That just feels super weird. Like, if the others like reshot the fight sequence without her, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But like, she's just there, and they never explain how she got there.
ファッションってのは他に誰かがいるから必要なんだろうが。この世に一人だけなら裸でも何でもいい。
クマのコートもできた。
Aww, that's cute.
ベアックマン、
ありがとう。
一緒に生きる相手のいないお前が俺様たちに勝てるはずがねえ。
I will say one thing. They got like the heartwarming aspect down. I will say that.
ファイナルリンクコーデフィニッシュナックル。
He's never dealt with matching sets.
俺様たちがフ ファッションナンバーワン
I'd I would say nah. I would say nah.
心配したんですよ。あら、そのローブはゴッドネス熊手の。
お姉ちゃん、もうこれ飽きた。ぽーい。
Are you gonna develop a crush on him? Oh, never mind.
ディアゴッドネス熊手、これで貸し借りなしです。ブーケ。
よいしょ、戻ってきてよかったくま
俺様としてはあのコートも気に入っていたんだがな。
Wait! Oh! Where have you been?
コートに書いてあるのは2人だけ。
Where have you been?
ことなんて忘れてましたよね。
また拗ねてるくま。
大丈夫だ、見ておけ。
グーデバンよ。何ですか。
俺様の心はいつでもお前のそばにある。
Aww.
表にするのはちょっとばかし。
Oh, that is beautiful.
熊手さん、一生ついて
Okay, that's fucking goofy. That's fucking great. I love that. That's funny. That is funny. That's funny. Oh, jeez. That's so great. They're a family, alright. Hell yeah, a goofy one, but they're a fucking family. That's great. We're gonna mute it because it's like this. I feel like I'm towing the line there. I get dinged for the outro theme, but oh, there. Okay, so there's no outro. This one doesn't have a preview. So I think we need. Okay, so seeing it firsthand. Let's go ahead and head back over here. So seeing it firsthand, at first it didn't seem that bad, right? At first I was like giving the vibe of she really doesn't play much into this episode, so she might have already been on a side thing at that point, because like the whole thing right now is like the current ongoing thing with her on the show was that Otto, she was trying to figure out how to wake her up. So they could have easily written her off as like she's gone somewhere to like find information or something. But here's my thing. I would have like, it would have been easily been like, okay, maybe the media was overblowing it out of proportion until we get to the fight, and she's just there. She's just there with no rhyme or reason. And it's super weird. It would have led credence to the theory that they knew 2 months in advance and probably started shooting, like reshooting things to prepare for her eventual firing. But the fact that she's just there now, like she has no plot relevance to the story. She does no live action shit. She just shows up with no rhyme or reason. Like if they had like edited her out of the fight scenes, then there could have been a case to be made that, oh no, they were prepared for this. No, they left that in. The erasure is on full display. They didn't even make an effort to try to explain how she got there. She's just there. Unless they retroactively explain that in the future, I don't... Like, the eraser's on full display. And it's jarring. They couldn't figure out any other way to do this. Like, I get you don't want to reshoot the fighting scenes. But my God, that feels super weird that she's just there for the fight and you don't explain how she got there. Like, I have seen some plot holes in Super Sentai in the past. I have seen some plot holes. This, I think, has to take the cake. This is by far the weirdest way to handle this situation I have ever seen. Try to go along as business as usual, erase the live action actor, but leave the suit there and never explain how she got there to the fight. And but because here's the thing, I have to believe there was a reshoot because it flowed too perfectly, right? It flowed too perfectly. I feel like they reshot the fashion aspects on the fly, right? Like they had to come back and do emergency filming, but they weren't able to like budget in a new fight sequence, so they just left it in. That's what it feels like. And to make matters worse, there was no end screen preview. There was no preview of next week. Matter of fact, the place where I'm watching it literally does not have a name for episode 38. And they normally have that name well in advance. They literally have not given us a name of the episode, which tells me that they are currently in the midst of emergency reshoots. I don't know how those are going to play out, but yeah, they're going to have to rig this all together, literally reshoot 14 episodes. Not even 14, like 12 episodes. They're going to have to refilm 12 episodes before the ending. Or at the very least, rush something together. Because ultimately, this was on the fly. If anything, I feel like they reshot the live action parts on the fly, didn't have enough time to redo a fight sequence, and just rolled with it. So, by all intents and purposes, I think they're emergency reshooting for next week's episode. Because it feels weird that somehow Sumino was not involved in the story at all. Because the way it was presented, it flowed too natural as if she was never meant to be part of the story. It felt weird, which tells me they reshot that on the fly. Right? That's what it feels like to me. They reshot that on the fly to redo those scenes. But the fact, and I think what bothers me the most is that none of the other Gozyugers even acknowledge that she's not there. Like they're acting like everything is a-okay. And I think that's the biggest insult about this, right? Like you couldn't shoot a little thing that explains, like it didn't even have to be with her. It could have literally just been a thing where someone said she went somewhere. That could have been it. But, and I get it was hastily done, but it feels weird. It feels disjointed. And if anything, it makes the erasure even more prevalent by the fact that she just shows up for the battle. This just feels like an absolute slap in the face. But not a slap in the face out of spite for the viewer. It's just an unfortunate byproduct of the situation. Right? I stand by what I say. I think their handling of the situation was botched at best. But man, there's just like so much wrong there, and we're gonna have to wait to see what they do with this. Because if they're not showing us a preview for next week, that tells me that any plan that they had for episode 38 got thrown the fuck out, and they're reshooting like madmen. They're probably doing it on a shoestring budget, but they'll have to figure something out. But it kind of goes with what I'm saying. This Gozyuger was doomed to fail, and I hate to say that, but we're seeing it firsthand with their dealing of the situation and just overall what the series has been the entire time. I hate to say it, Gozyu was doomed to fail, and the prophecy became truth. I hate to say it. We're gonna have to see how they come back from this next week. But because you got to believe there's emergency reshooting going. I know I said it a few times, but you got to believe that's what's going on. Because ultimately, it's weird that there's no preview for next week. So that says to me, yeah, emergency reshoots are happening. We'll have to see how they dig themselves out of this. But considering how far down the hole they are, to say I'm optimistic would be a lie. I'm interested to see in how they dig themselves out of it, but I don't think it's going to be anything good, if I'm being perfectly honest. But we'll see next week. Hope you guys will join me for the Gozyu-dan next week. We're going to see what's going to happen. We'll have to see if there's also any announcements during the week. We'll have to see if there's any announcements in regards to that. What was your favorite Super Sentai 6 Ranger? Tukaiser. I feel like that's a no-brainer. Tukaiser is my guy. I like Tukaiser. With a close second going to Jeremy Barzieri from King Oger. I thought that he was pretty cool. You know, that King Oger was such a good. It's amazing that the series that we're watching is coming from this, not from the exact writers, but from the same company that gave us King Oger. It's wild to think about. But man, oh, and favorite red, Captain Marvelous, 100%. Captain Marvelous is my guy. But anyway, we're gonna end it there, folks. I know this is. I'm not gonna say I hope you enjoyed because everything surrounding Gozyu has been rough. But if you're watching the VOD or whatever, let me know in the comments or in the replies. Let me know, how do you think they're going to handle the situation? Do you think we're going to be hearing more during the week leading up to the next episode of Gozyu? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm getting out of here. Hope you guys, if not enjoyed Gozyu, I hope you enjoyed this show. Because regardless on the state of Gozyu right now, I still enjoy doing this show. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those of you who don't know, on the Purple platform, it is Fallout Week starting tomorrow on the 10th, which is November 10th, which is we did this episode a day before. If you're watching this well in the future, don't even worry about it. But if you're watching this anytime between the 10th and the 14th, come on down to the Purple platform. Same name, at @callsign_Henshin. We're playing Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition all week. We're going to see just what changed, what's new, and what they hopefully fixed. So hopefully you guys will tune in to us over there. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week here on YouTube for the Gozyu-dan and, of course, the Zetsudan. Until then, my name is callsign_Henshin, your host and your favorite mercenary of fortune, coming to you live from the year 2285, reminding you that the future is in your hands and your hands alone. Only you can seize it. I will see you guys for the next episode. Until then, take it easy. Peace, baby.